This HyperDoc is meant to be a complete lesson guide to go along with the movie Butter's Final Meal. This video will walk you through how to edit and revise the HyperDoc for your students and suggest ways to modify it to fit the needs of your classroom. First thing is you need to make a copy of the student version in order to modify it. You'll note that this is titled Teacher's Guide, and it's also labeled in blue in order to keep from confusing the two. So if you click on the link to the student copy and then click on Use Template, it'll force an automatic copy from your Google account. When you open this, do set your share settings to anyone with the link can view. Once your share settings are set, you can consider how you're going to get the lesson to your students. If you're using Google Classroom, this is a great thing to push out to each of them. They can have their own copy, but it is not absolutely necessary. You could also just share a link to the slide deck. Nowhere in this lesson do they have to write on the actual slides. Always the assignments will link away from the slide deck. So at no time do you actually have to go through and grade all of these slides for your students. Now let's get into the delivery of the lesson. I've suggested pacing and labeled in the speaker notes of each slide. So it's just a suggestion, free to modify this as needed. I suggest on day one, you introduce the concept of this HyperDoc, which is a digital lesson showing your students which parts you will do together and which parts they'll be responsible for on their own. Also on day one, we want to start with the engagement of the lesson. This is meant to engage your students and set the stage for the essential question that will be part of the final project. Feel free to add to this slide or use in your discussions with your class in any way you see fit. Butter's Final Meal trailer is actually linked here. Students can go back often and watch it if they like on their own. Listed here is the essential question for the entire lesson. How do our actions or inactions affect others' lives? Feel free to edit, alter, adjust to fit your needs, but do pull this idea all the way through as the activities kind of touch on this all the way through to the final project.